Hello there. Well, I'm in Fife at the start of a great adventure. I'll give you all the details in the morning. I've had a few beers in the Golf Hotel in Crail. But a lovely hotel bar that is. It's not where I'm staying. And there's a lovely little corner with a kind of wooden bench and stuff. I could stay in that hotel bar for longer than is good for me. But earlier on today I was in the bus station, and I thought while waiting on the bus I'll eat my lunch, and I brought some kind of a kind of roll thing. In Glasgow we call them rolls. I think when they're long they're not rolls. I forget what you call them, but it's some kind of filling, a vegan filling. It was like falel, or I don't know how to pronounce it or say it. Falel, you know. I mean, you think vegans would at least eat something that we could all pronounce, you know, like turnip. But anyway, so I'm in the bus station, about to eat my lunch while waiting on the bus, and at the far end of the bus station there was three women staring at me. Old women, very old women, staring at me. Yeah, it's a wee bit off-putting when you try to eat, you know, and there's folks staring at you, you know. And I'm looking at them thinking, what? Yeah, you wonder what they're staring at, you know. And you kind of try to ignore it, and then you kind of look up and they're still staring at you, and I think, what the heck's going on here? You look up, you try to kind of look at them for a while and stop them staring at you. But as I said, they would just try to stare me out. And at the end I had to leave the bus station and go outside to eat my lunch, because I just felt very uncomfortable, you know. What's going on here, you know? I think, I mean, I'm inclined to think there were just three witches, three old witches. I might have told you in the past, but my middle name's Macbeth. Yeah. But I'm in a hotel here. I don't know if you can properly see, but it's just, I think it's probably typical of a lot of hotels these days. It's very clean, and for me that actually means an awful lot, because you don't always get cleanliness. I've had a good look around, it's very clean, and that's, you know, a 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. But it's just also kind of, it's a bit clinical. It's kind of white and pastel-y, and lacking in deep colours, in the same way that perhaps today's whisky bottle labels are, you know. But anyway, it's important to get a good night's sleep. I'll have a hearty breakfast in the morning. I'll kind of, as I say, fill you in then, and hopefully when I'm sleeping I'll try to not have thoughts about involving that phrase, hubble, bubble, boil and trouble, or whatever that kind of witch's phrase is. I'll see you in the morning. Well, hello there. The morning after the night before. It was a fairly good hotel room, as I may have touched on last night. Very clean, and that stands for a lot. But as I think I may also have said, it was a little bit stark. All white bedding, kind of pale pastel walls, with just a lack of colour, and the room felt clinical. And I sometimes think when designers design hotel rooms, they make them to look good. They don't really properly consider the fact that people are going to be in the room. People are a kind of secondary thought, you know. As long as it looks good, that's the main thing. I'll just give you just a little example. Was in the bathroom at the small sink, there was a glass shelf just at the wall in front of the sink, and you would think, well, what's wrong with that? Because you do get shelves in perhaps a similar position, but it's just it's not practical, you know, because if you're at the sink, there will be occasion where you're going to bend down, splash your face or whatever, and as soon as you bend down, you end up, your forehead hits the glass shelf. It's in the way, you know. And also the glass panels around the shower, my God, there just wasn't enough room by the toilet bowl. I was constantly in fear of breaking the glass panels of the shower, because I did accidentally elbow them at least once. It's just kind of, you know, as long as nobody was in the room, a nice room. So I'm in Crail. I'm going to be walking to St Andrews. It's about 14 miles. It's all flat. It's a coastal walk, Fife Coastal Path. I've done some videos on the Fife Coastal Path. I have walked this section before, I just haven't made a video of it. I thought it would be good to do that. That's why I kind of came through and stayed the night here, because it is a wee bit far out for a day trip. Staying the night was crucial. So we've got a good day. There is a little bit of wind around, a breeze rather, which wasn't really forecast. That might upset things from a videoing point of view. But I'm looking forward to approaching St Andrews and getting a glimpse of those dreaming spires. Who needs Oxford? It's adventure time. My God, you gave a fright, guys. It's a Doocot. It's a Doocot. Well, not much echo. Well. when you do these long distance walks, and when it's by on a shore, by a sea, where at times there can be very little to look at other than the sea and sort of rocks and things, you find you get a little bit excited when some buildings appear. There's some buildings up ahead. Brace yourself. Well, it's halfway point, and lunch in the shade I think is pretty desirable. It's quite warm out there, although I'm not having lunch. Had a big breakfast, I'm not hungry, so I'll just sit here for a while. And amongst the straw and the bird poo. It's taken me a little bit longer than I thought. Coming along, some parts of the shore were quite fiddly. An awful lot of rocks you had to try and find your way over. There was an area with cows and calves, so you had to quite a few areas where you had to come off the edge of golf courses and things and just come along the beach. And if it had been high tide, you could have struggled in one or two places. I didn't check the tide, so it might be a good idea if you're planning on doing this to check tide times and kind of read everything you can about the walk online. I'm really just outside Kingsbarns just now. So I've got about 8 miles to go yet, through Boarhills and then on to St Andrews. I can hear twittering, or twittering. I think there's a bird's nest up there. There's a nest in the corner. At breakfast this morning, there's a couple of Germans and we're all trying to figure out how to work things. You know, when you have breakfast and coffee in your own house, you're used to doing it a particular way, using your own gadgets, and all of a sudden you're confronted with these unfamiliar gadgets. In fact, it was the same in my room. There was some hot water heating thing which wasn't a kettle, and I looked at it and I thought, nah, I'll just have a drink of cold water. I think I can't be bothered figuring out how to work it. And it was the same at breakfast. I'm kind of trying to figure out how to get water out of this thing. And one of the German women was, she wasn't sure either. And when I eventually managed it, I could hear in my head the phrase, "We have water." That's not what I said. "We have the water," or something, you know. And but I think I just said we have water. It's almost one of these don't mention the war sort of scenarios. Anyway, I'll drink my water and I'll see you later on in the path. Sand's not all it's made. I've lost the ability to speak. Sand's not all it's made out to be. It's very hard going on sand that's not firm. Can we get a petition going for firmer sand? I mean, I'm on a beach, you know, I should be liking the sand, but by God, it's hard to walk on. And the sea's making whooshing noises. I think the tide's coming in. See? Whoosh. Well, we're starting to get a good view of St Andrews now, but it still seems quite a distance away. It's 4 o'clock, I plan to be in there by 5 o'clock. Can I get there in an hour? I suspect the answer is yes, but it depends on the terrain, because just coming along the shore, that particular point there was an absolute nightmare. Steps up and down and up and down, up every little bit of land that's stuck out and down again, and oh, for God's sake, the last seriously large number of steps nearly did me in. And just coming along there, once you're at the top of the steps there's a kind of little arrow taking you through a gate. You go about 50 metres on the other side of a wall, and there's a stair to take you back over the wall. There's absolutely no need for that. Somebody, I think, is just having a bit of a laugh there. It's ridiculous, you know. An hour, let's see. Well, I made it 20 past 5, 20 minutes late. It was just a wee bit too much for me, to be honest. There was just a lot of steps, you know. While I initially said it's going to be, it's by the coast, it'll be flat. No, it was up and down and up and down. It's horrendous in places. And at one point I nearly missed the tide, as it were, because the tide was coming in, and there was a bit, I completely forgot about this tide issue. So as I said earlier, check that for yourself. The tide was in the way. There's no way I'm turning back. I'm prepared to allow my feet to get wet up to a depth of about a foot. But thankfully there was a kind of well-placed, deliberately well-placed rock, and a kind of foothold and an iron thing in the rock that you could hold on to and clamber up. But there we go. So I think now I'm just going to see if I've got enough time for a pint. I think I need to calm down before getting the bus, or I'll maybe be travel sick or something, I don't know. It's a long journey back to Glasgow, so I'll maybe have a beer and then get the bus back to Glasgow, where thankfully there are no rocky shores. I'm Eddie Burns. Bye for now.